What's happening, everybody? Maybe this time I can figure out how to invite some folks. Maybe we can get some folks in here and give me some questions to answer. Get some folks up in here. Give me something to talk about instead of just sitting here staring at the damn phone. Well, HuGGY been going through it for, well, I was going to say for about the past 2 weeks, but HuGGY been going through it for a lot longer than 2 weeks. Real talk. Gotta get outside my comfort zone. Make some things normal that are abnormal to me if I'm gonna be trying to do this social media thing. And I guess I'm just trying to do that, try to make some changes, find out some health things I didn't know about that explain 20 years of pain, legitimate. And it didn't help that I got a high tolerance for pain. And didn't help when you're a man in this here world. There ain't no sympathy for you. Ain't no coalitions. Ain't no 1-800 numbers. Only advice you got is pick yourself up by your bootstraps, dust yourself off, be a man about it. And it turns out that, 20 years of pain wasn't just in my mind. It's all legitimate. And apparently it was documented when I was a child. I just never knew it. So, what are you gonna do? Get some folks up in here. Now, since I'm just starting all this stuff, I ain't figured out best time to do it. I'll probably this evening try to go live again, maybe have some people up in here come up with some questions or whatnot. I guess in the meantime, I do got a few questions to answer that was sent to me on my YouTube by my boy Get Musty. What's happening, partner? See if I can remember him. I don't want to end the live and try to go back in and look him up because I forgot to write him down. But let's see. One of the first ones was, how did I become an Auburn fan? Basically, you know how it is. If you're from the state of Alabama, that's one of the first things you gotta choose, I guess. And because my father was an Auburn fan, that's just the way I went, which is strange. If you listen to the podcast that some homies of mine have called Water Cooler Talk Podcast, or I take that back, it wasn't Water Cooler Pass, it was podcast, it was the other one, Auburn Addicts. Nick from Water Cooler was just on there with DC that night, and I called in and talked to him. And that's how it started, how'd you become an Auburn fan? And when I answered it, I know nobody will remember, but I made the comment. I said, ironically, because my father was a Auburn fan, and the explanation behind that is I ain't seen that mug in like over 20 years. And when he was around, and I guess I reckon it depends on your perspective if he was a good father or not. One of the things I've learned in life is it's all about perspective. You can find the positive in the negative, you can find the negative in the positive. It just really depends on your point of view. But I ain't seen that mug 20-something years. And so it's just funny. That's how I've become an Auburn fan. And I haven't had any contact with that person in over 20 years. And when I did have contact, it wasn't necessarily that good back then. But when you're a child, you don't be knowing stuff, you know what I'm talking about? And a lot of stuff be kept from you. But that's basically the answer to that question. How did HuGGY become an Auburn fan? That's what my father was. Fortunately for me, I guess, that's one of the few good things that came out of him. Or came from him, I guess I should say. Because I wouldn't take nothing to be an Alabama fan. Auburn got better colors, got better iconography. I mean, just everything's better. I get that they're the university of the state, so they'll always, no matter what, the Auburn could win 100 titles in a row, it wouldn't matter. But I will say I have enjoyed watching all the Bama fans' slow descent into insanity since old Papa Saban retired. But it's crazy now that they went from hating DeBoer, saying, he got to get out of here because he won only 9 games, to now they're all fired up saying, oh, he the next, But if you're from this state, you already know Bama fans are extremely fickle. If you were born in the past, 15, 20 years, you don't remember back far enough, but I do. I can remember when Bama was struggling to win 3 games, and Auburn was whooping that ass every year. That's why I'm of the opinion, I don't think the actual state of Alabama, the people that run this state, they'll never again let Alabama, the school, get that bad. Even if they're not, they won't ever get to Saban level again. But I've always said they won't never let Alabama get down bad like that again. It's all, all about the money for them. They don't really care about no sport or competition and whatnot. So that answers that question. I think let's see, what else did he ask? He also asked, how did I personally feel about Auburn football cranking up in a couple months. And I don't feel good at all, boys. That's just real talk. Now, I've mentioned this before on Water Cooler, the podcast before, but something changed at Auburn some years ago, and Auburn ain't been the same since. I'm an Auburn fan, but I'm realistic. Teams aren't afraid of the jungle no more. Ain't nobody afraid to come into Auburn. Nobody afraid of Jordan Hare. Don't nobody see that orange and blue and start worrying because they don't know what Magic 6 is about to go down. Them days is gone. They've been gone, bro. And I've said that it's almost like the football gods are punishing Auburn. Because there's anybody that has interacted with me when it comes to football before, everybody will know that old HuGGY is an Auburn man who is also a proud member of Noel Nation for 30 plus years. Is what it is. But so my opinion on this carries a little bit more relevance than the rest of Auburn Nation or Noel Nation. But Auburn should have won that 2013 national championship. It shouldn't have never came down. It was a great game, though, in my opinion, the best BCS championship game out of all of them. But not just because it's Auburn and Florida State, but because to me it's the only game that really lived up to the hype. That was a great game, and you didn't really know what was going to happen until the final whistle blew. But Auburn gave that championship away. And then fast forward to 2017, they get hot, beat Georgia and Alabama back to back when they were both ranked number 1, and then roll up in the SEC against Georgia, and that's the end of that. So I've been saying that, you know, the football magic will only get you so far, and then you got to do the rest of it. And Auburn didn't deliver, and I ain't seen no Auburn magic since then. So I don't feel good about this upcoming season at all. I don't. And like I said, if you ever are on the show, or either show actually, Auburn Addicts or Water Cooler Talk, I'll be ragging on Hugh Freeze, bro. I don't like his face. I don't like him. But I'm also looking from the football perspective of it, because, you know, to HuGGY B, football is in the same category as barbecue, UGK, strip clubs, all, you know, that's, football is just something that I cotton with, so to speak. And so I've always been able to kind of step outside the fandom and really look at stuff, because you can love your team, you can root for them and all that whatnot, but reality is reality, you know what I'm saying? And you got to accept that. So I don't feel good about Auburn next year at all. And like I said, I'm also of the opinion that when coaches get hot, like Hugh Freeze did at Ole Miss, and then they have anything happen that makes them leave and kind of go away for a minute, when they come back in, the bloom is off the rose. You hear me? It's not the same. And I've said the same thing about Hugh Freeze from day one that I've said about Mike Norvell 2 seasons ago. Probably more suited to be a coordinator. Good men, and you know, it's nothing about them personally, but I just don't think that either one of them have the killer instinct. That's one thing about Saban. You say what you want about him, but he was a straight asshole, because that was his thing. He, you know, and it worked. So I don't see them having that killer instinct. And if you go back and look at, especially in college, most of your best coaches were just jackasses in real life. You know, but once you start winning, all that goes away. Don't nobody really care about that. But, and also, you know, like I said, that I don't think things have been the same. If you ever get a chance, go check out the podcast, Raw Room. Great podcast, but for an Auburn man, you got King Dunlap on there, who, in my opinion, is probably the greatest tackle that's ever been at Auburn. The sumbitch is the size of a skyscraper, just out the gate. Talking about, you know, but also on there is one of my all-time favorite Auburn guys, man, Darren Bates. Like, I call him the hype man. That, bro, you wish you had like 12 of him on every team you played. You know what I'm talking about? There's an episode where they're talking about the former strength coach at Auburn, Coach Kevin Yox, and they were talking about just stuff they had to do, and they referenced the heel. And now the Auburn has new facilities. They got a new hill, and it's not as steep. It's not, and that's just kind of part of what I mean. Like, that just attitude, that just toughness that used to be at Auburn, it's gone, man. So I don't feel good at all. I hope I'm wrong. I'd really love to be wrong, but I don't see it going down like that. It's just a whole culture change is what's needed at Auburn, I think. See what else did he? Oh yeah, he asked, how did I get all my aliases, my nicknames, so to speak. That's just a collection of things over the years. Like with, you know, with HuGGY Beard, that's just a reference to all my life. Every female I've run into, 8 or 9 out of 10 of them will usually describe me or nickname me some version of, you know, teddy bear, Pooh Bear. I've been Pooh Bear a couple times. There's always just referencing me as, you know, a big fluffy teddy bear. And I want to say, and many years ago, I forget where, but I was at a strip club, and that's, you know, that's another one of my old HuGGY's things. And traditionally, strippers, maybe not every single one, but a lot of them, they've always embraced me. And I don't mean like as a customer. I mean, they embraced me outside of that. Like they've always, you know, it's like if you know me personally in real life, you've heard me say this before, but animals, babies, black folks, and strippers, they instantly embrace me. They take me in and treat me like one of their own. It just is what it is. You know, there's worse problems to have. But if I remember correctly, I was macking on this bitch and trying to file her in the black book under GTD. And shout out to all the Martin fans that just understood that joke. And she made a comment about, oh, you're just a big old HuGGY bear. And out of respect to the real HuGGY bear, I said, no, darling, I'm the HuGGY Beard. And it just kind of became so. Rooster Mac, that's just something I came up with, just spun off of the term being the cock of the walk. And it just sounds really, really cool. And let's see what else. Oh yeah, the legend of Sweet Sugar Bear Williams. That's kind of another play off of the teddy bear thing. And it goes back, because I've been called Sugar Bear a couple times, so it goes all the way back to the teddy bear thing. The part of the name, the legend of, I just thought that sounded cool, and it had like kind of like a pimp named Slickback, and that's why every letter is capitalized in, you know, TLO. When you see those 3 capital letters, that's what that stands for, the legend of Sweet Sugar Bear Williams. And the Williams part I just got because I went with Williams because both Sweet Sugar Bear and Rooster, there's a slight influence on it from Pimp C. And of course, you know, Pimp C was Tony Snow, Percy Mack, you know, Sweet James Jones. And that's, you know, I kind of borrowed from Pimp C. That's where the sweet comes from, and Sweet Sugar Bear. And TLO is just, I threw it on there because I thought it sounded cool. And the Williams part, I went with it because I figured if originally my first thought was Sweet Sugar Bear Jones, but that's too close to Sweet James Jones. It's basically just one part change, so I didn't want to do that, because it's one thing to be influenced by somebody, but it's another thing just to rip them off entirely. So I went with Williams because I'm a huge fan of Hank Williams and Hank Williams III and Evan Williams, the whiskey. So said it all together out loud. Sounded really cool, and there you go, the legend of Sweet Sugar Bear Williams. And the last one is the one that I don't really reference a lot, but that would be the Voodoo King, Bad News Jackie Bones, spelled Jacky. That actually, I've had that longer than I can, you know, really remember anything. because that goes back. What started that was, growing up, being born in '83, and then growing up, I was big at the time, big fan of pro wrestling when it was still pro wrestling and not sports entertainment and just a bunch of fake looking jive like it is now. But on all the games, on all the SmackDown games or whatever, you create your own character or your own wrestler. And that was mine, which originally it was Bad News Jimmy Bones, because my favorite whiskey is Jim Beam. But now that I think about it, it probably, the Jim Beam influence probably wasn't why I went with that. It just, I guess, sounded better. And then, that was my creative character, Bad News Jimmy Bones. And then Snoop Dogg dropped a movie called Bones, and then the main character is named Jimmy Bones. So I switched it to Jackie and spelt it with a Y, and I actually liked it better. So that's where that comes from. That's been, and it kind of is, like I've said this on the show, the way it breaks down. Hold on, let me lock this up. The way it breaks down, there's two personality points that make up the HuGGY beard. And it's essentially almost like you break it down, positive and negative. And Bad News obviously is representative of the negative. That's why he's not talked up, and referenced a lot. Because I don't really like Bad News. And he's just I don't know how to, he's just bad news. I mean, it is what it is. I don't like that guy. And that guy has a lot of chips on his shoulder. They're all valid and legitimate, but he don't care about much, and he don't care about too many people at all. It just is how it is, to my. And I actually the other day did a little bit of, I guess you would call, self-discovery. And I know I'm pacing around a lot. Y'all just have to get over that. I do that. But somebody asked me, what's the difference between Sweet Sugar Bear and the Rooster? And I thought about it for a minute, and I was like, well, because Sweet Sugar Bear predates the Rooster, and by a long time. And then it dawned on me, at least as it relates to females, it dawned on me what the difference was. Sweet Sugar Bear is the pimp. Rooster's the Mac. Well, HuGGY, what's the difference between a Mac and a pimp? I'm glad you asked that. A Mac is just trying to GTD, get them draws. Snatch them draws or them jaws, either way. A Mac just trying to just get over on a bitch. Like gigolo style, I guess you would say. And he ain't necessarily got to get paid. He ain't necessarily got to get gifts. But he going to get them draws, and then he out. That's a Mac. So a pimp give a damn about getting laid. While the time you up in here crawling up on me, butt booty naked, you could be out there hollering at these tricks and working that money out of them and bringing them back to Sweet Sugar Bear so we can go get me some reptiles put on my feet and around my waist and get one to hold some dollar bills attached to a chain. You got them three matching: your boots, shoes, belt, and wallet, and they reptile. You a bad mama jamma. It's another thing y'all don't know. HuGGY is partial to reptile footwear and belts. If I was, super wealthy, that'd be my vice. Yeah, I'd have a nice house, nice enough. Couple cool cars, couple cool toys here and there. But once you got a few things, and like with cars, I see all these celebrities, they got just a garage full of cars, and they're all badass. But bro, you can only drive one at a time. And the more of them you have, the more upkeep you got to pay for. And because they all gonna break down, especially if you, like me, you into old cars, like classics and whatnot. So as much as I'm into it, and I also just don't see those things as being a good investment. I heard in a seminar, or something, I don't really know what you would call it, but it was an investment thing, and it was basically said if it drives, floats, flies, or there's one other, I think it was maybe referencing a house, is that they're bad investments. So that wouldn't really be a problem for me. My problem would be, man, look at them gator boots. Look at them rattlesnake shoes. Oh, there's a matching belt. And then the next thing you know, I done spent like 3 months worth of paycheck on 2 pairs of boots. So, yeah. Oh, HuGGY liked them reptiles, bro. And so that's the difference. I'm Mac just trying to snatch them draws and move on to the next one. Pimp ain't got time for that. Pimp trying to get paid, Jack. And of course, if you are I don't really know what you would call it, if you were a follower or a supporter of the pimp ideology, pimp savvy, there's different levels to it. And like me getting on Facebook in the last couple of days, man, I had no idea. Like, bro, Pimp C once said, pimping ain't dead, it just moved to the website, bro. Good grief, Facebook. I almost started to make a post on my main channel. Like, hey, y'all, I don't really know how to make Facebook work. How do I get this stuff out of my reels? Like, every time I log on, it was just this, like, there's different broads, but just the same look, like stamped out a cookie cutter. Same fake ass, same fake looking everything. And just sitting there shaking it and tricking it. And it's like, bitch, I didn't like none of y'all's pages. I didn't subscribe to none of this. Why the hell is this just flooding my thing? Like, it was just too much over and over. And see, when HuGGY look at stuff like that, I can look past it. And I wasn't seeing fake as hell but physically attractive enough looking female shaking her ass. I was just seeing trick. And bruh, man, hey, but shout out to y'all, man. I put that in a post or whatever you call them on here the other day. Shout out to all you scandalous trifling bitches, man. I ain't mad at you. You just doing what the bitch supposed. You heard me? And to all the men who want to constantly be bitching about how women are, I bet you if we would get back in line, that them bitches would get in line too. Because know this, them scandalous trifling bitches, they ain't doing nothing that ain't working. So if it's working, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You heard me? So that's a little sidebar. I'm gonna do a major, because that's a big issue I have. Like this whole alpha male MGTOW, I think it's called. Men go their own way. MGTOW, yeah. Man, righteously, and I hope somebody clipped this and put this on there. But all of them, whatever podcast, Fresh and Fit. There's probably even way many more of them now, but that's the first two that come to mind. Y'all bunch of hoes shows damn selves, bro. I've watched videos on there, and I'll be thinking like, bro, everything you just said about these bitches, you just turned around and said everything. Somebody pissed you off. Oh, I got more money than you. I got a bigger house than you. Bro, you sound like a straight up hoe. You literally just told these hoes that only women think like that, and then you're going to turn around and get your panties in a twist and try to talk to another man like a hoe. That's why I laugh at all these podcasts, and I feel bad for all the young men that think this is an alpha male. You can watch these podcasts and just see how these bitches respond to these mugs. You hear me? They don't respond to you because you're not putting that vibe out that you are the real alpha. Because I got news for you, Jack. If you're the alpha, it don't matter what you're dressed in. It don't matter what your bank account says. If you're the top dog, you're the top dog. And everybody around's going to notice it. You hear me? So it just is what it is on that little flyby. But man, these hoes, there's so much booty on Facebook, bro. It's crazy. And I mean, if you're just trying to hook up and, you know, do your little thing, more power to you. But man, it's crazy how much ass it is on here. And these hoes is getting paid like a mug, bro. I ain't mad at you, though. You trifling bitches. Scandalous ass. Hey, do your thing, though. I ain't gonna knock your hustle. And if these tricks is dumb enough to send you money and afford you this lifestyle like you a damn, you know, feather in the cap of society, get it then. Trek on them. Every strip club I've ever been cool with, anytime I go in there, any girl that tells me, hey, I'm going to come holler at you, but I cut them off right then. Darling, you go get that money. You come holler at me anytime. But you go trick on them. Get them tricks. You hear me? That's just, you got to understand the game. And I think that's one of the reasons they've always embraced me. It's because I understand the game and I respect it. Because you're going to be hard-pressed to get HuGGY to tip you more than $1 bill. Yeah, if you're needing 5, 10s, and 20s and up, to quote Pimp C, the tricks is over there. You better get on the grind. I'll throw you a couple dollars here and there, but bitch, hell no. I don't give a damn about making it rain. Only rain I'm trying to see is when it's falling in my lap and the bitch says, let's go get you some reptiles, daddy. Put on your feet. Maybe like that sometimes, so. So shout out to all you scandalous bitches. Y'all in here doing the damn thing. I hear you. I ain't mad at you. But, yeah, how to get off on that. Guess just out of boredom. But, I guess I'm going to call this one a wrap for the moment. And then get on here and try to figure some of these things out. And, I'll probably be hollering at y'all later on this evening. Y'all stay super fly. Y'all be blessed, you heard me?